Hey everyone, it's Mono here from Mono Rants the Boys and Mono Rants at the Movies. If you're a fan of superhero series The Boys and sick of waiting for season 4, why not join me and Kira as we rant our way in detail,
like Ashley's fashion,
in excruciating detail, through every episode of the milk-loving, soup-hating debauchery that is The Boys, including Diabolical and the 7 on 7. When we're not gushing over that, you can find us over on Mono Rants at the Movies, where we have mostly non-spoiler chats about the type of films you may have seen at house parties. You know, cult films, indie films, foreign films, bad films that we love anyway.
and many a hill I will die on.
Yeah, definitely. And that very particular brand of 2000s action horror sci-fi that is apparently our sweet spot.
And Mark Dacascos' bum.
Yes. So if you like a few bits of trivia, many unrelated tangents, and random references that we don't explain,
Unless it's Stargate.
then join us on Mondays, like every other fucking indie podcast, as we rant our way through a new film each week like we have a clue. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts.
And new episodes of The Boys whenever Amazon makes them.
Hi guys, in this show we're looking at Jung, McCrane, Wise, Ferrer, Smith, Cox, Allen and Weller. We're looking at 1987's Robocop.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of 100 Things We've Learned from Film. I'm one of your hosts, my name's Planty, and who's the cop that can't be stopped?
And I'm the other guy, John, and I'm the bitch that left.
John, how are you?
I'm alright, buddy, I'm alright. It's taps off weather, it's 10 degrees in Scotland right now,
I
so
know,
it's pretty much summer.
Hot, H-O-A-T, hot
It's
is
close.
what it is.
It's not quite close, but it's close to close.
It's not. It will be much. It will be much hotter this time next week when I'm on a beach in Cape Verde. So fuck the lot of yous.
Oh,
Right, yeah.
you say it like it's a good thing.
Of course, we're the podcast tries to learn 100 things from every episode. Oh, this week we couldn't help ourselves. For his triple crown, we have got the return of the always amazing Evil Genius artwork. Paul, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing good, mate. Good to be back.
Yeah.
I missed you guys.
Yeah, the hat trick.
We always know it's a cult classic if we're getting Paul on.
Yeah, I still can't
And
believe
it couldn't be. It's one of the biggest cult classics, the biggest bangers of all time, like we've just been saying.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we would have started this recording probably about 20 minutes ago had we not been banging on about what we're actually going to be talking about in the episode. Paul,
choice.
tell us. Yeah, thanks very much. Tell us a little bit about what we can find you doing and where you are.
Basically, do a lot of mashup film, comic projects, Evil Genius Artworks on Instagram, and also Etsy store. But yeah, my projects in the past have included Rambo versus the Blair Witch, which you can get on there at the moment. I do a lot of Shining stuff. I'm doing a Peanuts style Shining mashup at the moment. Lots of different stuff. Just lots of different stuff really that comes into my brain, and I just make it. And yeah, it's on the Etsy. So yeah, if you want to check it out.
And you should. We've got a couple of copies of Rambo versus the Blair Witch, haven't we, John?
Yeah, and I've still got my card. That's me.
We usually get you on to talk about a film that's relevant to something that you're doing. We're not doing the fucking Shining. We're just not. As good as it is, as good as Jackie is in it. But I'd mentioned this to John. I knew I'd got it on DVD, and I thought, do I drop Paul a message? So I'd message John and go, should I get Paul on? He was like, yes, absolutely. Because even though I don't think we've ever talked Robocop, I knew you would love this.
No,
and I
you
think
know me too well.
Yeah, you replied by sending me back a picture of the Arrow 4K box set, which I was watching it on that very moment.
Yeah. No, if we did The Shining, it would probably go on for 25 hours. It would just be ridiculous.
We'd end up like those tossers in That Room 214 film, going, oh well, the house couldn't look like this, the building couldn't look like this because when they're in this room and they do piss off. Anyway, anyway, look, we're talking about RoboCop. Your relationship with this film, Paul?
I was just saying to John before we came on, just like video shop, rental, just everything I wanted it to be. Reading 2000 AD at the time, and it was just like the perfect personification of all that stuff. I think it's the closest we got to a Judge Dredd at that time.
Yeah.
And we all know what happened when Stallone tried to do it a few years later. But
Yeah.
everything I want in a film, everything. It's like a weird era, that sort of golden video shop era, because it's like films that are ultra violent and bloody and gory, but like have such appeal to children as well.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about things like Terminator and Predator and Aliens, and it just, I don't want to sound like an old man, but I just don't think that era for me will ever be top. Just of stuff coming out that just blew your mind.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Totally agreed.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think I would probably been about 9 or 10 when my mum rented this for me from.
That's what I mean.
Video 2000, Bradford, BD3.
It was just weird, wasn't it? We got away with murder, the stuff we saw, but it was so. It was like a portal to another world, really. The video player in those days, because there was nothing on telly, anything like it.
No.
And you do watch these high definition transfers now, and you maybe they do show some of the flaws in the effects, but you didn't see them on your VHS players and your TVs of the. It just perfection. Yeah,
exactly. And I am going to say, I don't think there's any flaws in this 4K transfer. I think it looks better than it's ever looked. It's gorgeous, really is. Yeah. And I think me and Rachel were watching it, and she was like, "Oh, that bit doesn't look too good. I can't remember what it was." And I was like, "No, it looks amazing. It must have been an ED209 bit." And I was like, "No, it looks amazing. It looks just as good as ever.
It looks better than it did when I was looking at it."
And I did write in my notes, could we get away with this in 2023?
No.
There's only one scene. There's only one scene that doesn't stand up for me, and that's when the guy gets smashed out of the window right at the very end, and he's falling.
He looks like
He's big arms. He's big, massive arms.
Yeah, it just sticks out. I don't know.
He looks like your man from Psycho going down the stairs.
Everything else is flawless. Yeah. So it's a weird little. I don't know if they put it in as a joke or what, but
it's funny that. Yeah, maybe we just haven't got to that level at the time. Anyway, let's talk Robocop, shall we? You know the rules, boys. Jump in whenever you want. We opened this one, of course. It is an Orion Pictures. We've done Orion Pictures.
Yeah,
in fact,
I left
Paul, we did Orion Pictures when you were last on, because we did First Blood.
Yeah.
So I picked up some facts that we didn't have last time. Launched in 1978, 4 Academy Awards for Best Picture. Amadeus, 1984. Platoon, 86. Dances with Wolves, 1990. And The Silence of the Lambs, 1991.
All right.
Financial issues in 91 caused Orion to sell off a lot of its rights, including the rights to the Addams Family film. And at the 63rd Annual Academy Awards in 91, host Billy Crystal made a reference to the studio's debt in his opening monologue, joking that Reversal of Fortune is about a woman in a coma, Awakenings is about a man in a coma, and Dances with Wolves was released by Orion, a studio in a coma. Kind of like. Since 1997...
Dances with Wolves is a film that'll put you in a coma.
I never need to watch that again. Since 97, they've been owned by MGM, and this year have an Oscar-nominated feature in Women Talking. I mean, 2023, we're finally letting women talk. It's the future. It is, isn't it? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know what it's about. I mean, I assume it's the Ron Seal of films.
Oh man, I want to go back to the video shop era, man. There wasn't films called Women Talking in my video shop.
There were films called House.
Yes.
And Ghoulies. Which didn't look anything like the Ghoulies on the front of the video.
No,
they're not.
Anyway, we open with Detroit and a news report, which I think that some of the best things about these films are the news reports.
So a couple of things on that before you kick off. Apparently that was the only original footage of Detroit.
Yeah, I've got that as well.
And so I was looking at some of the reels that come up. So see how there was all the checkered effects that showing you. The only two I could pick out was Challenger, footage of Challenger, which
All
came
right,
up
yeah.
in 1986. But I was seeing a volcanic eruption, so I was looking at volcanic eruptions in 1987, but there was 60 bloody 4 confirmed
All right,
eruptions,
wow.
so I couldn't tell what one was what.
Okay. That was Joe versus the volcano, that one.
Oh, that was a coma.
Arguably 1988, I think. Anyway. This, of course, as you've pointed out, isn't filmed in Detroit, except for that bit. Filmed set in Detroit and filmed there. Previous episodes, The Darkman. Remember him?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that
as
film.
well as another previous episode, Grosse Point Blank.
Oh, God. Hey,
Yeah.
Jesus.
And, of course, 8 Mile, but we're not doing an episode on that.
No.
Something
Yeah,
about my mom's spaghetti. I don't know. Filmed set in Detroit, but not filmed there. The Crow, which we've done already, North Carolina. This one, which was filmed predominantly in Dallas, Texas. Robot Copper 2, Houston and LA.
What is that?
Robo Bobby 3, Atlanta.
I'm putting these all on my list. You know I'm going to be on eBay trying to find DVD copies of these.
These are just my names for the follow-up films. And Reboot Cop, which was filmed in Vancouver.
Wow. Jesus.
Which I've written Robot Cop Takes Manhattan, anyone? Pretty sure that was all filmed in Vancouver except for that one scene at Times Square.
Die.
The ironic thing is, Detroit now, the way it looks, would be the perfect setting for Robocop, wouldn't it? Because it is proper apocalyptic.
It's really
now.
bad, yeah, it's horrible.
But they didn't use it because the skyline wasn't futuristic enough, Verhoeven said.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, that was one of my little extras on my on my.
That was
Arrow
one of the
DVDs.
things I was trying to find out about. Was that the actual OCP building? Where was that? Because that is a futuristic looking building.
It is a futuristic building. I didn't get that.
I didn't get it, but I do know that they matte painted it, so to make it is a structure.
Because I went on like a proper site about Robocop locations, and it didn't show that building. So yeah, maybe it's
there's like a town hall or something like that, but they matte painted it so it looked futuristic, which it did.
In this news story, South Africa have got a nuke. Fucking hell, we're all finished.
Is that in Pretoria?
It was, yeah.
Did anybody find anything out about this place?
I know a little bit about it just historically, but I didn't look anything up for the podcast.
I'll leave that sort of stuff to you two because
I just all I've got on it is it's primarily a seat in government. It also imports rail and industrial. It's got an industrial centre, so it's quite a big hub. It's a big place, but I've never heard it. That was the first.
Yeah, there's a big cricket ground there that they play test matches at. That's pretty much what I know of Pretoria. The president's on this faulty Star Wars space station.
Oh Jesus, that's a lot of memories coming with the Star Wars program.
Yeah, now listeners, not that Star Wars. We said we'd never do that on this. The actual name of the Strategic Defence Initiative is what it was called. Formed in 1984 with a plan for laser beams.
SDI, I love that. SDI, remember it used to be an SDI and they changed it to SDD.
Particle beams and space-based missiles to be set up as a deterrent for attacking the US and her allies. But mostly, of course, the US.
Reagan set it up, didn't he?
Of course he did, Marmy.
Of course he did.
In 1987, the American Physical Society concluded the technologies being considered were decades away from being ready for use, and at least another decade of research was required to know whether such a system was even possible. Shortly after this report was released, the funding was removed. Up ye.
I looked at it, says Clinton scrapped it in 1993.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
I know it's the Space Defence of Judea in it or something.
Splitters. The neutron bomb that Pretoria have got. Neutron bombs are sometimes called enhanced radiation weapons. The function of these weapons is less about explosive power and more about releasing toxic levels of radiation, which explains how they've got so many of those District 13s. There, prawn. Russia owns. It's a great film.
I know. That thing is brilliant.
Russia owns a number of these, at least 68 neutron warheads with a 10 kiloton yield, and it's been in service since 1995.
Oof.
Yeah, so again, I assume that all of these silos are just full of sand. I just always assume that's the case. All this stuff's been scrapped. OCP, as you mentioned, Paul, are have the contract for the city of Detroit for managing the police. In the news report, this cop has been killed, and Clarence Boddicker has been fingered as the cop killer.
That's what she said.
He's the head of a crime syndicate, the report tells us.
Yep.
Metro West Police Station. Now, I've got to say, other than Robocop and a couple of the bad guys, my favourite character is the sergeant of Metro West Police Station. Right? This guy, he's obviously a lawyer. He's saying, my client could get away with this. We could give you a bung or something. He's like, listen, your client's a scumbag and you're a scumbag. Scumbags see the judge on Monday.
Get out.
Scumbags see the judge on Monday.
That's a funny thing, though. It's like it's meant to be set in this dystopian future. That's what it says on the Wikipedia. But there is nothing futuristic about it, apart from Robocop and the OCP building. Really, when you look at it, I noticed in the actual police station they did put like a big robotic sort of like switchboard up in the corner. But everything else about it, it's like there's a part in the film where they book someone in. And he takes a fountain pen out and writes it on paper.
Yeah,
and when a dystopian future.
Well, the only thing that's actually got a screen on it in this, the only mobile thing with a screen on it, is just a red LED.
I know, on the tracker.
And like a picture with just this LED stuck on a picture.
I'm not convinced, but they didn't really get like a futuristic work. But I like that about it, really.
Of course you do. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's great fun. Murphy's the new cop in town.
Yeah.
And I assume he was picked for this because he's so very skinny.
Yeah, there was somebody else picked for it, but he was too large for the suit.
There was a couple of choices before him. I don't know if you spotted any of these.
He was 40 at the time. I thought he looked a lot younger.
Yeah,
Schwarzenegger was the one, wasn't he, that they wanted? But they said that in the costume, he looked like I read somewhere on Wikipedia that he looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy, which he would, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
like Mr. Freeze and Batman. Oopsie.
He looked like the Iron Giant.
No, but yeah, I definitely think that's why they picked him. But he's got a great face for it as well. I think his mouth and chin.
Aye. Good voice as well. Nice, good.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, in fact, while he's talking at the beginning, he sounds robotic. Maybe he's just a shit actor and I didn't realise.
I think he's trying to, a lot of the time, he's trying to sound like Schwarzenegger in a strange sort of way, whether they told him to, because sometimes he's speaking in a kind of weird European accent as well.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. It is a kind of a pseudo kind of European sound, isn't it? Yeah.
But a lot of actors wouldn't do it as well because of the mask or the helmet. They didn't want to
cover their beautiful
face.
No.
Yeah.
A bit like when Stallone ruined Judge Dredd by having the helmet taken off.
Yeah.
Carl Urban wins that fight.
Absolutely, yeah. Rutger Hauer was considered.
Yes.
Which
I would have loved to
worked
see
for
that.
me. Yeah, me too. As was favourite of the director, of course, Michael Ironside.
Oh yeah, that was the one. Aye, that was the one that I
worked
had
for
seen. Aye.
Yeah, Rutger Hauer would have smacked. Like, I do think Weller was brilliant in this, but I think Hauer, he's just
it's been good to see what he did with it.
Yeah.
Oh no, I absolutely agree. He seems to think OCP are moving a lot of cops to Metro West. One cop mentions striking. At the same time, the sergeant comes in to take the dead cop's belongings from his locker.
Oh, later on, that's blew up. That was the first. I was today-year-old when I realised why they did it. It wasn't later on they actually tell you why they moved them. I'm like, man, that's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. The sergeant says, we're not plumbers, we're police officers, and police officers don't strike. It's great. The two characters I liked in this particular scene was this little nerdy guy emptying the locker. He looked like Rick Moranis.
Like it? And it says Cecil Collector.
He looks like a Cecil, yeah.
There was a totally unnecessary boob shot in that scene as well, wasn't there?
There is,
of a lady changing for So okay.
There's another woman in there who looked a bit like June Ackland in The Bill.
Aye, so she did with the tape across the.
Yeah,
Well, what the?
exactly. Can I get away with that fact that LaRue, the singer, is her daughter? Is that a fact? Does that count?
I didn't know that.
That's a deep dive, that is.
I didn't know that.
famously, yeah.
Doing it for the thrills.
Indeed,
He's so
taking down
quick,
the boots
isn't
for the thrills. He is like, yeah. It's at least that's what the listeners think when I edit out all the gaps. Yeah.
I know. Man, John says something. Dead air.
In the office, we see Lewis beating the fuck out of this suspect. She's brilliant in this, isn't she?
Aye. Yeah, Nancy Allen, she's fantastic.
And arguably little tiny Nancy Allen, but she wasn't that young. I guess she just had that kind of babysitter and Carrie kind of look, didn't she? Yeah.
Did you know she was Brian De Palma's wife?
I did, yeah.
I didn't know that until I watched this. And Blowout's one of my all-time favourite De Palma movies. She's in that, isn't she? And Dressed to Kill.
Yeah.
But, I didn't know that until...
Arguably, is there a bad De Palma film?
Probably not, actually.
No,
even
I
the bad
don't think
ones
so.
are watchable.
Yeah, even the bad ones have got a certain style about them, haven't they?
Snake Eyes, Cage. That's another great one.
Snake Eyes is good. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about that.
Let's not go to Nicolas Cage.
She's basically hardcore, she's sassy, and she's cute. They head off, and for the first time, we see a car heading out this garage, hitting this ramp, causing sparks. And it happens 3 times in the film, and all I could think was, fix that fucking ramp.
Well, why is the ramp even fucking there?
Every car hits the, go out a little bit slower, lads. Oh, you can't because you're police and you're on call.
I think it's only the Ford Taurus that does it because it's quite long, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's got quite a long front. Yeah. In the OCP building, we see Johnson, Kinney, and Morton heading to a meeting with Jones and the old man. Jones shoulders his new police kit, which they're going to use to cut down on crime before they break ground on the new Detroit, which OCP has got the contract for creating this new $2 billion city, which, if you think about it, you probably couldn't build a building for $2 billion today, could you?
Nah.
What does he introduce us to?
Ed Gamble. Ed 209.
Ed 209. Still looks great. I still love it. I still think it's
just a roar. It gets me every time.
Characters in anything, and it's not even a character, is it? Do we still have room for stop motion sci-fi? I think we might.
I love stop motion.
Yeah, me too.
I love it.
I don't know if you've seen, Paul, that Phil Tippett Mad God horror film. The stop motion one. I haven't watched it yet. It's been on my Shudder list for like 6 months now, and I just haven't watched it.
Brilliant.
Everyone says it's amazing. Yeah.
But yeah, stop motion for me, like the pinnacle is Evil Dead 2. But
oh yeah,
no, I totally agree.
I've got different films. But yeah, I've got quite a bit about Ed 209.
Oh great!
He's based on a 1H Huey gunship that was a Vietnam helicopter.
All right.
Apparently,
we get the name Huey from, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of Vietnam and biblical references throughout this film, but some of them I'll get back to later. But I think it's Ed Neumeier. But yeah, I think so. Ed 209. But another Vietnam reference is the guy who brings Ed 209 out. Yeah, it's called McNamara, which was a Secretary of War at the time of Vietnam. So there's little things like that in there as well.
Oh. That's really clever, kind of like dropping stuff in, isn't it?
Yeah. And also 20 Seconds to Comply, which is the saying, became a great 90s hip-hop record, if anyone remembers that, by Silver Bullet.
I do, yeah absolutely.
20 Seconds to Comply.
Really randomly, I have got a Silver Bullet reference coming up, but not the one you think. Anyway, we'll come to it. He gets this guy up as an example, and Jones gives him a gun to point at ED-209 and threatens him 20 seconds to comply.
That goes well.
Yeah, he throws down the gun and it continues to threaten him, and it turns him basically into Ragu on this model of this city, doesn't he?
Even shoots his legs after he's on the model. It's so gross.
Well, when they're trying to call a paramedic for him after, when he's, like you say, he's basically he's tomato sauce.
Yeah. It's just that guy shouting, "Don't touch him!" You're like, he's all over the room. You can't no touch him. That was a Desert Eagle, and apparently that was meant to be Robocop's original gun, but it looked too small in his hand.
Oh, right, okay. So excellent, fine. So the second outing at least for the Desert Eagle this year. We got it in Snatch, didn't we?
I think the first time I remember hearing that in the film, I think it was Last Action Hero. Was it? that the one that they started using it in? But I remember in the playground, everyone talking about pretending you had Desert Eagles and that. That was the gun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last Action Hero future episode, of course.
Invite me for that one.
Oh, wow. Well, we've already got a guest for that one. I'm afraid
Oh.
you've missed the chance of that. The old man's particularly unhappy. It could cost them millions of pounds in interest payments alone. But Morton's seeing a trick here. He explains he's part of the Robocop project.
Win it.
Yeah, absolutely.
No one gives a fuck about that guy who just died, do they? No one.
I know, Kenny. Oh my God, to kill Kenny. Maybe that's where they're going it for.
The old man says to him, have me a presentation ready in 20 minutes. Like, the size of this building, it's going to take him 20 minutes to get back to me.
I know. 20 minutes just to find a photocopier.
It's like coming across Red Dwarf, isn't it? Murphy's practicing spinning his gun. He explains his son watches TJ Laser, which is a cop show with a robot cop that does it.
Apparently that's a parody of TJ Hooker.
Yeah,
Of course it is.
I was like, TJ Hooker was never that bloody interesting.
No. Absolutely. It was just some fat Canadian guy, wasn't it?
Aye. Rolling about in a motor.
Yeah. They get a call for a 211 in progress. It's Clarence Boddicker and his gang. I've written his gang of, hey, it's that guys. Because you know them all out of stuff.
211's a 3-digit code for robbery.
All right, nice one.
I've got another one. So that code 415
Yeah.
is, I thought it was like a assault or something. That's noticed disturbing the peace.
All right, okay, nice one. I made a mistake in writing something down and wrote 411. And I was like, I know for a fact at no point is it a 411.
I know the 411.
But I still looked up 411 because I'm that dedicated to trying to get 100 things in this podcast. A 411 is the US Director Inquiries number and slang for getting info or an update. There you go.
There you go.
So I still used that, even though it's completely irrelevant to the film. But when did I ever let that get in the way?
Exactly.
Of this podcast?
We were pitching it for a couple of last bloody facts. Do you know guys' eyes are green? And
do you know Robocop is short for Robot Cop?
do you know OCP is an anagram for cop?
Well, OCP? Yeah, you know me.
I kept on thinking that, yeah.
I'm glad it wasn't just fucking me. It's been in my head all week.
On that, Omni Consumer Products is actually a company. It was founded in 2016 by a graphic designer, but he obviously took it for this.
All right.
So OCP is a real company.
Good work. They're in this. I've written they're in an ice cream van. They're blatantly not in an ice cream van.
It does look like a catering truck, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a 1968 Chevrolet step van P30.
Ooh.
And as you've already said, the police cruiser was an 86 Ford Taurus. The reason they picked the Taurus was because there was loads of designs for futuristic cars for Robocop, but Verhoeven hated them all and instead went, I saw a car driving by and he went, yeah, that looks kind of futuristic. Let's have that.
That'll do.
One of the first lines coming up that I absolutely love here. The guys kick open the back doors.
That's what she said.
Hey, they've got their shotguns and they go to shoot, but the cops have manoeuvred to the side because that's how roads work. And then they come back round to the back and start shooting up the van. This not a character, Bobby, takes a bullet to the knee. And Clarence's line here is what I think about all the time. Paul, what does he say?
I don't know.
I bet John knows.
Can you fly, Bobby?
It's his delivery every single time on every line.
Yep.
It's kind of like he is up to 11 completely unnecessarily. It's like Verhoeven said, right, lads, I want you to act in this film, but everything you learnt at acting school, could you just do that but 10 times more? Can you just do more, boys? Is there a chance you can just give me 100% more? He's Welsh, of course, Paul Verhoeven, famously from the valleys.
Apparently, on the extras, he threw the script in the bin, like when he read the synopsis, and his wife took it out and made him. It'd been rejected by everyone, just a little Verhoeven thing there.
Oh,
Aye.
right. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't spot that. No. They throw him out of the car and it causes the cops to veer off the road. They throw his corpse onto the ground and then follow on to this old steel mill, which I absolutely loved.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
All the
so kind of...
locations are awesome.
Yeah, there's a few of them as well.
The roads are so desolate, like they don't even make it look like it's a real lived-in city, do they? It's just
And
no
I
one on
assume
it.
That is what Detroit looks like now. All the car factories look like that now.
Oh, yeah.
It's same as most of Dagenham today. I assume pretty much looks like this. Lewis catches this black character of the gang, Joe, taking a piss. Right? She turns his gun on him, and he turns around and says, "Mind if I zip this up?" And
she looks.
Yeah, it's a blatant black guy with a massive cock gag.
It's terrible, isn't it? It's terrible.
Yeah, she looks down, and as she's distracted, he knocks her out.
She has to look.
She's got to see if it's true. Joe, is it true what they say? But I mean, it could be worse. He could pick it up and knock her out with it.
Awful that bit.
Murphy finds a couple more of the gang watching TV. They're watching this character Bixby and his show. Right now, we all know this line. We all do this, right?
Yeah.
But did you know that the TV show is actually called "It's Not My Problem"?
Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah,
Bixby Snyder.
Bixby Schneider.
God, that's the name.
I'll buy that for $1.
He's got 7 credits on IMDb. This guy,
like the proper Robocop hardcore fans, love him, don't they? He's like a proper icon.
SD Nemeth, he's called. One of his is previous episode Blues Brothers. He is uncredited in the Jailhouse Rock scene at the end.
What?
So I assume he's like a Great Lakes native or something. If that's the case, because that's Chicago, isn't it?
Did either of you guys read about the lost plot for Robocop 3 where he was the president of America?
What?
They were going to do a film where Bixby Snyder became the president because everyone loves him, don't they, in the Robocop world?
Aye.
He comes on the telly, everyone cracks up, no matter who they are, like from different walks of life. So yeah.
Man, it'd be better than the bloody story they put out.
I'll buy that for $1. It's just $1. I'll buy it. I'd like to borrow that $1 off somebody, but I'll buy it.
Is that Trump doing a Bixby Snyder?
it's exactly what it is. Bixby Snide cunt. So that is.
That's one of the things I love about this film, those little in-jokes. They really make it feel like a world, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, absolutely.
And all the adverts and everything.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder why we've not had even more. And I'm sure, Paul, you've got something on the core directive or whatever they're called, films or something. But I have not. I think I've maybe seen 15 minutes of the first one of those. But they are not for me. But the first 3 films, even RoboCop 3, which is atrocious, I've still got a little bit of love for because it's
for the jetpack.
RoboCop. Yeah, for the jetpack and the Amiga game, which was amazing.
The special effects were done with a Commodore Amiga in this film.
Oh, were they?
Aye, yeah. So I looked it up. So I double checked the date, but apparently the Commodore Amiga 500 was launched in January 1987.
Right.
So it must have been hot off the press, but they used the Commodore Amiga for the special effects.
Wow, fantastic.
I'm assuming it would just be like the sort of tracking stuff and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because I think everything was all practical back then.
Drilling down the LED or whatever he says. You're like, wow,
I know.
That looks like shit. Okay, anyway.
Special effects on this are just like mind blowing, and I don't know if either of you guys, but Rob Bottin is the guy who did all the effects, and he was his mentor was Rick Baker, who did all the stuff like.
Right, yeah, we've done a lot of Rick Baker,
American Werewolf in London, but Rick Bottin, who did this, Rob Bottin, did The Thing, The Howling, Total Recall, The Fog. So yeah, that's why it's of this level of
it's classic
genius. Yeah.
Paul, did you watch the little featurette on ED209, the animation and storyboard?
No, I didn't see that. Is that on the?
It's on. Yeah, it's on the 4K. Phil Tippett did that. We talked about him before, of course. he was Oscar nominated for Starship Troopers, which we've done an episode on, and
Another
won
Verhoeven.
the Oscar for Jurassic Park, which we've done an episode on as well. So there you go. Yeah, but he's great. I think he's listed as like dinosaur supervisor, isn't he, on Jurassic Park? And it's that famous meme of "you only had one job, Phil." But actually, he's a great man, and you know, effects have come on no end because of him.
Yeah.
We see that as they're watching Bixby on the TV, he blows away one of these guys, Robocop, and he goes to arrest Emil, who again is probably in my top 5 favorite characters in this, because I think Emil is a worse human being than Clarence. I think Emil is absolute scum.
I think Emil should have been in Death Wish 3 in that gang. He just looks like...
Aye.
He does.
And his hair is... I've never seen hair. It's like a double comb over, isn't it? That meets in the middle to make like a thicker line.
That's
Right.
I love stuff like that.
He goes to arrest Emil before the rest of the gang turn up pulling shotguns. Here's Clarence. Joe explains he's taken Lewis out. You probably don't think I'm a very nice guy, do you? Buddy, I think you're slime.
Absolute classic line. I love that. As soon as he says that, you probably don't think. It's just the way he does it with his glasses at the end of his nose.
Yeah.
He looks like an old uncle or something weird.
This is everybody's favourite sound effect coming up. Clarence tracking him with the gun.
Me.
What is that? What is he doing?
Taco.
I thought he was trying to do, like a tracking noise. Like when you
Aye.
I don't know either.
Like a robot?
Yeah, probably like a robot cop. He blows his hand off, which still looks fucking great.
Yeah.
Again, the little kind of floppy bit that's left and the bit of bone. We just see them just blowing him away. It's so gratuitous.
Yeah, it's just constant as well.
Apparently, meant to be like the crucifixion of Christ. Read a lot. Yeah, so that's why his hand gets blown off. That's meant to be the nail in the hands, and then he goes into a crucifix position for the end. And then that ties into a scene at the end where he's walking over water. He's meant to be walking on water. When he's going towards that guy and he's walking over that massive puddle.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually documented that it was meant to be like Verhoeven's Christ.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Robo-Christ?
Certainly better.
Robo-Christ.
Certainly better.
There's your mashup right there.
Lewis shows up, and the next thing we see is being dragged out of a helicopter on a gurney onto this hospital. Everything from this part of the film onwards is kind of Murphy's point of view. He's having flashbacks to his wife and kids.
Ad-libbed all that stuff with the medics, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
Apparently it was a real medical crew and they ad-libbed a whole lot.
Oh,
so
right.
It was all technical, it was all medical jargon.
I don't know why they're trying to start his heart again when he's been shot through the brain.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand what was going on there, to be honest. One thing that they do say that I was like, one thing I caught was they go, ready the mast trousers. And I was like, what? Military anti-shock trousers or pneumatic anti-shock garments? God damn these anti-shock trousers! Are medical devices used to treat severe blood loss. The device is usually applied to the patient's pelvis, abdomen, and lower parts of the body, and is composed of man-made inflatable air bladders.
All right.
So obviously, it's used as to stem the flow, isn't it? As they say, as Claire would have said.
Why aren't they working on his head? He's got shot through the.
Well, I guess they weren't. They weren't head doctors. They call it, and Murphy's dead. Next up, this montage is seen from Murphy's point of view, and the fantastic lines across, which is supposed to look like an 80s monitor. And it looks good. It still looks
good. Yeah, I like it.
Apparently, I don't know if either of you guys got it. That was based on MS-DOS at the time, PC, and they reckon in the second one, they based it on an Apple interface, and they replaced the Apple with a skull. So in some way, Robocop 1 and Robocop 2 is Apple versus PC.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
that's good,
PC. PC cop.
I love that though. That really sells it to me. You know, like when they're screwing it in and the grid just gets closer and closer each time.
Yeah. I love this bit. There's this arguing over full prosthesis, isn't it? It's like, we managed to save the arm. I thought I said full prosthesis.
What do you think? Is that, well, he signed the declaration.
Yeah, he's legally dead. And he's like, lose the arm, which always reminded me of the Robot Wars episode of Series 2 in Spaced. Lose the axe. I like the axe. I like my face. I like your face. Which I think of a lot. There's some good acting here with Morton shaking the hand of the prosthetic arm. He can't quite get his arm round, right? And then it's meant to kind of almost break his head. Oh, that's a hell of a grip.
And every one of them was laughing. I looked at all three of them are laughing their heads off, which is quite funny.
So either it's really good acting or they surprised him with quite how... Yeah. They explained to him that it's he's got a grip of 400 foot-pounds. A foot-pound is a unit of energy equal to the amount required to raise 1 pound a distance of 1 foot. Mm-hmm. And then the line is, it's my great pleasure to introduce you to Robocop, but we've already done it, so we can't do the siren. We only get one siren an episode. We see him go live, and again, from his point of view, we only get to see like a little shot of him in this mirror, don't you? Like in this, or on this
the monitor. I love that. I think that just goes to show like what you can do without like a big CGI explosion. Just that little flash of him. Yeah. I love it. And then when he's
how films should be made.
Yeah.
But my favourite bit's coming up, and I always remember it watching it, and it was always when he was walking through the police station with that noise.
And you see him through the glass.
Literally just to see.
But they give you like little pieces, don't they? They don't just. And when you get the reveal, it is powerful.
Yeah,
brilliant filmmaking. Like for what it is, it's brilliant filmmaking.
We learn that we can track him with a little beeping red light, of course, and that he eats nutritional paste. And the other character's like, tastes like baby food. Do you want some?
Yeah.
It looks like...
Knock yourself out.
Shit. 190 gram jar of hip vegetables with noodles and chicken, 85p at Asda.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, 85p. It's on offer at the minute, down from £1. There you go. It's listeners. It's a public service. This podcast, but we have got the little bit of I fucking love that guy, which is great. You know, he's doing the clicks. That's a great shot. I love that. We learn that he has 3 prime directives. Paul, you're the big Robocop fan. Do you know them?
Do you know what, man? I'm not. I don't know them. I'm showing myself up here.
John, do you know any of them?
Yeah, protect the innocent, uphold the law, and never roll on Shabbos.
Hang on, are you suggesting that Robocop...
Same universe, mate, same universe.
Murphy does not sound like... He doesn't sound like a Jewish name. I mean, I don't know.
Rubber stop.
He has serve the public, protect the innocent, uphold the law, and his other one is any attempt to arrest a senior officer of OCP will result in a shutdown. Which is why he has
That's
that
a big plot device, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Although that one isn't technically. That's one of kind of his internal ones, which you assume there's probably loads of other ones, including Gaines bugging me, which is vastly underrated, as Paul and I have discussed on chat earlier. So at the firing range, the beat cops all stop when they hear this semi-automatic hand cannon. And I think he says something. Someone says it is. Doesn't she say something
it's
like
Super Cop? It's Super Cop.
That's it. That's what I said. The cop who can't be stopped. He blasts away the paper dummy. He heads out on patrol on his own. They still haven't fixed the ramp. I was furious. And we hear the iconic music for the first time, actually in the film, not in the titles. And I don't know about you, but ba 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 ba.
Oh, it's brilliant, man.
Did you guys get that? When in the actual trailer they used the music from the Terminator because they didn't have any music.
Wow, did they really?
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to find
trailer.
that. I'm going to have to find that trailer. Again, that's another iconic bit of sci-fi music, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Better. I mean, a better bit of music. But, you know, they're still both good. This mom and pop store, this shop, they're watching Bixby again. This is what you're saying, Paul. That everybody kind of watches.
But they all stop and laugh. It's not everyone in the background. They always acknowledge the punchline, don't they?
Yeah. This guy heads in, tells them to empty the register and safe. I've always loved the fact it's hidden behind the light beer cans.
Just a quick one before you get to that bit. He picks up an Iron Man comic, which is a reference to one of the influences. He picks up the comic and throws it on the till.
Oh, sure he does.
It's an Iron Man comic, yeah.
Oh,
well done.
The safe being hidden by light beer cans reminded me of that bit in The Simpsons. What happens if anyone asks for alcohol-free beer? You know it's never happened. This is the point where Robocop bursts in and the guy's shouting, "Fuck me! Fuck me! Fuck me!"
Surely that line should have been "fuck you."
I never understood "fuck me," and now I'm 43. I still don't understand "fuck me."
Fuck me, look at the size of that guy.
Right. But as we mentioned, John, last week on the Big Lebowski, it's dubbed to "Why Me" for the
TV.
I read that,
Yeah, it's another one of those. Yeah. Robocop bends the barrel of the gun, which is fun. Always thought that was fun. And then hoists the guy into this kind of cooler, doesn't he, into this fridge. And like the old woman gives this grin, this shit-eating grin. I'm like,
I know, but
what?
they've totally smashed up the shop. I know he says, "Thanks for your cooperation."
Totally
Cheers, mate.
I saw a few products that I like the look of here. Country Club Soda. It's made in the Dominican Republic and is a cream soda flavoured drink. Malt Duck, I saw advertised. It no longer exists. It was a mix of beer and grape juice. 5.9%. Sounds minging. But I might have to try and make some of my own when I'm on holiday. Very much like I did Skittlebrow from The Simpsons. And Silver Bullet, which I assume was a beer or something, but I couldn't find anything of it. There is such a thing as a cocktail called Silver Bullet, which is whiskey and gin. Paul's going, I'm like, fuck that.
I don't like whiskey or gin.
Yeah, well, there you go. Of course, the only Silver Bullet I'm interested in is the 1985 film based on Stephen King's Cycle of the Werewolf, starring everybody's favourite crazy Gary Busey, Corey Haim, and the stepfather himself, Terry O'Quinn.
Oh, God, Corey Haim.
By the way, I don't know who it was, but I watched a remake of that. Me and Rach watched a remake of Stepfather that was made a couple of years ago. It's not very good.
It's shit, isn't it?
It's not very good, and it made me wish I was watching Terry O'Quinn.
It's not that good.
Yeah, it was bad. Robocop, the next crime is this woman being sexually assaulted by Billy Idol and a bloke dressed like Julie from Tekken 2. Right? He's got the denim jacket with fringes on, which I'm pretty certain is cultural misappropriation these days. And unacceptable.
That flick knife was a beast, though, wasn't it? That was actually bigger than my bloody old Rambo knife that was snapped in half.
Oh, don't bring it up, John.
Sorry, guys.
They're about to rip her skirt and Robocop shows up. Julie from Tekken's got the knife to the woman's throat. And he shoots through the skirt and shoots the dick off of him.
And that wasn't in the script. Paul Verhoeven thought of that on at the time. He thought it'd be a
because he's a pervert.
When she opened her legs, she was able to get him quite wide. So I was wondering.
And we get the great line for the guy that is going to run away, Billy Idol. Your move, creep. The woman comes running up to him and she's like, "Oh, you saved my life, thank you. I am referring you to a rape crisis centre." And I was like, what a hero. Whereas most cops today, of course, would continue through with the sexual abuse of the woman.
Yeah, that seems to be a thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. over at Town Hall, former City Councilman Ron Miller has got hostages.
No.
He's unhappy with the result of the election, but it's okay because here's Robocop to fix it. Keep him talking.
I've got stuff about that. The hostage scene was based on a real life situation. Did either of you guys get that?
No, go for it.
Where a council member, Dan White, held San Francisco mayor and supervisor Harvey Milk, and he both killed them both. You know Harvey Milk? That was a film
the Milk
with Sean...
film. With my least favourite Penn actor.
Yeah.
The wrong Penn died.
But so it was based on a real situation, and Robocop didn't turn up to save the mayor, and the guy actually killed them both. So.
All right, yeah. I've never watched that. I do find, I really should, but I do find his choice of roles that are far too over serious for me to want to get away with watching. I think the last Penn film I watched was probably Mystic River, and I think I probably watched that because it was Clint directing it, and it's great as well. It's very good, but again, I don't ever feel the need to watch it again. Detroit City Hall stood from 1871 to 1961 when it was demolished. 1 Kennedy Square is the building that's there now, and it is the home of Ernst Young Accountants.
Did they do that bit at Detroit City Hall then?
No, they didn't.
No.
Now, and where they actually do their business is the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. It is not the building we see here, and it looked really, really boring. It looks like the kind of building that they knocked up in where you live, Paul, in Milton Keynes.
It's very Milton Keynes like the whole again.
All substance, no style, which I think is on the signs when you enter the town.
Yeah, it should be.
The Detroit mayor today is Mike Duggan, not Hacksaw Jim. Since 2014, he is the 75th mayor of Detroit.
Me?
Did you check what he wanted, by the way? What he wanted to as part of his deal to let the guys go?
They pushed on the card, didn't he? But he wants his old job back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he wanted fresh coffee, a recount, a bigger office in my old job, and a car that does really shitty mileage.
The 6000 sucks. That's a car that shows up throughout, isn't it? And it's a parody of a real car that they hated.
Right.
The Impala 6000 or something. That's why it's SUX sucks.
Got
They're usually your kind of facts.
They are usually. Right. Good work on that one.
Because that's the bit when one of the guys turns up a bit later, doesn't he? And his stolen sucks, and Bodica blows it up with a bazooka.
Yeah, he's like, you've got the same car as you. He's not having that, is he? He also mentions he wants cruise control on his car. According to the American Automobile Association, cruise control can help you become more fuel efficient and help you save on average 7 to 14% on a tank of gas, thanks to its ability to maintain a continuous speed.
Oh.
There you go.
I can see why he wanted it and wanted to kill everyone.
Absolutely. Fuck the polar bears. That's what I'm saying. Robocop gets him by reaching through the wall, punching through the wall, dragging him through, and then hoying him out the window. It's brilliant. And they just they all just rush out to the body.
They panned in, didn't they?
Yeah.
Shows them actually just panning in.
There's now a news report. Who is Robocop?
I love that news report. It's so it looked. I reckon that they proper sent him into schools because it looks so realistic.
The kids are having such a good time.
Yeah,
and they do this kind of like this talking heads thing, don't they? With this stoner guy, he looks like a Vietnam vet, and he's like, I don't know, man. I think we need more RoboCop.
And then they show the Nukem advert, which I really I love that. I did
them before they get you.
But I did it like deep dive on the Robocop sort of fan sites, and they and they go into detail about that game. But it's like, to win, you must invade countries, impose sanctions, and force regime change until someone gives up and launches nukes, and it causes a small explosion and mushroom cloud to erupt from the game's console. They should make that game.
I am astonished. There's about 3 things in this that I'm astonished we don't have yet. Why don't we have that game is the first thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We learn that Morton's now vice president and he's been given access to the executive bathroom. He's shit-talking Dick Jones at this urinal, only for him to walk out of this cubicle behind him. Everybody kind of runs out, and this guy that's shit-talking with him pulls his zip up and just covers himself in piss to get out. I thought that was really good. Gentlemen, the best way to stop dribbling on your pants, right after your urine stream stops, quote-unquote, milk out the last few drops of urine using the fingertips of one hand, beginning about an inch behind your scrotum, and gently press upwards. Keep applying this pressure as you move your fingers towards the base of the penis under the scrotum.
That is a couple of sentences I didn't think I was going to hear tonight.
Yeah, I might have looked that up at work.
That sounds like starting a good time. I could be a good 7 minutes here, and I'm milking myself.
Sorry, I'm hardly milking my scrotum.
I love the shot. One of my favourite shots is like the establishing shot of that scene where you can see the guy's trousers around his ankles.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah. You see him standing up. You're like, oh.
And then he comes out of the toilet, doesn't wash his hands, and grabs the guy by his arse wiping hand on his hair.
Yeah,
I hate stuff like that.
You just fucked with the wrong shitty guy.
Pulling someone's hair at work would be classed as harassment, but also trichotillomania, also known as trick, is when someone cannot resist the urge to pull out their own hair.
Oh man, never miss a trick. You must know miss a few tricks in your time.
Fuck off. Fuck off, hair boy. He explains that they used to all be a dick to the old man. But you never crossed the line. Dick's annoyed because Morton ruined his 25-year deal for spare parts on the ED209s. He says, sure, it probably didn't work, but why should that matter? You know. And this is you fucked with the wrong guy, and you better pray that Robocop doesn't screw up.
They really didn't test Robocop before they sent him out. He's pretty much got made, didn't he? And then he got put in a car and sent out.
He didn't even know he could drive. Just throw a set of keys at him.
Back at the station, Robocop's having dreams about being murdered. Meanwhile, the operative's complaining about the Acapulco airport being blown up because she's going on holiday.
Those operatives are shit, aren't they? He's like having a fit for like 15 minutes before they.
I know, and they're just sitting.
And all the things, all the computers are going crazy, and that little tachograph.
And she's just drinking a Pepsi. Yeah. Robocop's up and he's on his way out. So until now, did they think he had no free will or something? What's going on? As he's leaving, Lewis introduces herself and calls him Murphy. He just blanks her. He gets in the car and shock horror hits that fucking ramp again. Thankfully, that's the last time we see that.
There's additional weight in there. Well, he's not wearing his trousers, but there's additional weight in there.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, they couldn't get him in the. They couldn't get him in his in
the Taurus with his dogs on.
Yeah, funny.
And also, he's wearing a for some of the scenes. He was wearing a Walkman underneath the helmet to pump him up for some of the gun scenes.
Oh, really? Yeah. Wow. Okay.
He was listening to Peter Gabriel for one of the scenes, which is a bit weird.
Okay. Yeah. Morton shows up and explains that this doesn't concern cops. It's OCP. And the line is, forget it, kid. This guy's a serious asshole. So the chief says to Lewis, at a filling station, your boy Emil's here. And he holds up the chap to get the money and fill his motorcycle up. Behind him, he's got this poster for donating $1 to amateur athletes. And I was kind of, that's interesting. I wonder what that is. But I couldn't find anything on it. But I did find athletesforhope.org, which was founded in 2006 and has supported hundreds of US amateur athletes, allowing them to go abroad for competing. There you go.
How can you go from squeezing your knob to that fact?
Because that's the podcast, Paul. That's the podcast. That's how
he really likes athletes.
I really like squeezing my scrotum to athletes. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Especially Frank Bruno.
Oh dear.
Robo turns up here, and Emil starts shooting. He does the dead or alive. You're coming with me.
But before that, he does that thing where like, you think you're smart? Can you outsmart a bullet? I'm like, that's so weird. Kicking the thing. He's holding a gun, but he's kicking the thing.
Emil's screaming, "We killed you!" The petrol station blows up, but that's okay because it's Shell, and they've just posted record profits. So fuck those murdering ass bastards. Back in the station, Robo comes into the data room and checks out the system with
a flick finger
data spike. Right, 35 years, lads, and we still don't have data spikes in our wrists.
No.
That's fucking Rishi's Britain. That I'm telling you.
Apparently, the computer that he sticks it into, that's what she said, is a Northern Telecom telephone switch. I didn't research for it, but it's a real life computer, but obviously that was just like a headphone socket or something in these days.
They're still using those in Sterling for their dial-up. John has to go and give it a fucking kick every now and again.
Get this fucking data knob into it. Poof.
Clear the trash pandas out of it. We see Emil's known associates. It's the full gang. He then looks at Murphy and sees that he's dead, but he does also see his address. So he heads out to his old house, which is for sale by this robo realtor, which I absolutely
I thought it was brilliant.
Right?
That's about the only futuristic thing in this, to be fair.
Oh, like doing that? Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. The address is 548 Primrose Lane. The street is real, but the house is not. There's no 548. Why, John, must films lie to us?
Effing liars, man. I thought there was some ethics with being a cop movie. Bastards.
Absolutely. He's having flashbacks as he walks through the house. And as he leaves, he punches the realtor bot, which is pretty much all it deserves.
Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. See, when I watched this about 2 years ago, and I remember when he was doing his thing, he does a duck face thing, and I'm thinking, that's where they must have got that for modern day resting duck face, because he does this thing with his mouth. If you watch it again, he actually does his pure duck face, just fucking wonders it. Resting bitch face before it's time.
In a club, he questions Leon, right? And I couldn't call him Leon because I kept wanting to call him Leyland Palmer.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, Mersey Notes and Dozy Toast and Little Empty Ivy. All the time. That series 2 with your man out the Warriors as his brother.
Oh,
where he goes a little bit mad and starts thinking he's a Confederate soldier. That's the fucking, forget the murder of his daughter. That's the winner for me. The other guy, I've just realised I've conflated two characters. But the other guy who goes a bit mad and thinks he's Anyway, by the by, he kicks Robo in the nuts and breaks a toe, I assume.
And apparently, in the instant after that shot, Paul Verhoeven makes a cameo.
He is, Apparently, he was kind of showing the guys how he wanted them to dance. And the cameraman swings. I mean, it's like a swing shot through. And it's Verhoeven there. And you're kind of like, oh, that's interesting. And he's just, and he's like, he's going mad. It's like, I think it's called the Verhoeven Easter egg on the 4K. When they were in the editing suite, the editor had kept it in, and he's like, I kept it in because I liked it. And he's like, yeah, all right, fine.
Go for it. But apparently that was Paul Weller. He says Paul Weller. He says Peter Weller.
It's a very different film.
he says that was his most traumatic scene, walking down the stairs.
Because he was going underground.
But he couldn't look down, so he had to keep fucking wanker. He had to give his eyes forward, so he couldn't look down. So walking down the stairs, had to do it 3 times.
Yeah, that was really hard. Apparently hard in that costume, wasn't it? That's why he sat trouserless in the car as well.
Yeah.
But did either of you guys get that he hired one of the best mimes in the world apparently to help him?
Yeah, from Juilliard College. Yeah, that's right.
And I think that really paid off because his movements are.
Oh,
it's fantastic, don't they?
Yeah, I love the way he turns his head and looks and then turns his body to go in that direction. I thought it was brilliant.
Meanwhile, Morton's doing coke off some woman's tits because it's the 80s, I assume. It's either that or you murder somebody with an axe while listening to Phil Collins.
I love his flat, and they do this in a lot of films where they try and show futuristic houses. They never imagined that you could have a big screen. They just have loads of small tellies, don't they?
All kind of stuck together.
They even have that in OCP, and it's like, why don't you just have a big screen?
Yeah,
I know. And Scrooged as well. That was quite good.
That's right,
It just shows in those times they could not envision a big screen TV.
But they did envision having a fax machine while you're on the toilet. You're fired!
You are fired.
Another brilliant line from Clarence here, probably one of the best. Bitches leave.
Yeah, character names, by the way, because Verhoeven called them by their names by the script.
Okay.
So when he referred to them, he just referred to them as bitches.
Right, okay.
Did we do on Bodycut, the reason he was hired was because he reminded Verhoeven of Heinrich Himmler, and that was the reason
Really?
That was the reason he employed him to do it. But he's brilliant, isn't he?
He has got the look of hair flick about him. Yeah.
Nope.
Von Schmalhausen. He shoots Morton in the legs and puts a video of Dick Jones on saying there's a winner and loser and that he's cashing him out. Clarence leaves a grenade on the coffee table and leaves.
Not a thing, by the way, just so you know. There's no such thing as a digital grenade. I looked up and knew I'm on register, but there's no such thing.
It was like a DVD he puts on as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Before the time of DVDs.
They do it twice, but it wasn't even invented by then.
No.
It was pre-Laserdisc, I think.
So it says the first DVD was created by Toshiba in November 1996, but CDs were 1982, so it was more likely to be a CD. Liars!
Liars indeed. At this drug processing plant, run by non-union Robert Duvall, or as Rachel called him, non-union wine-drinking Jeffrey Tambor. Like, he's just walking around with this glass of wine, isn't he? Like,
I know.
That cocaine factory is like one of the worst sets, I think, in the film. It's just like it's like got like all these green pipes like feeding into the machine, and then it's like pushing out cocaine into these little test tubes. And it's like, I don't think any cocaine factory is like that, to be honest.
Well, I'd assume
not that I've been to any.
Well, I know. Wouldn't like to think.
The thing that got me the most was the red lights that were just that didn't work and were just stuck onto like a metal walkway where no cables or anything. It was like the factory out of Kinky Boots.
No, the thing that got me the most was Clarence trying to snort wine.
Yes!
He just sticks his fingers and goes, hey!
What was that?
And then the guy continues to drink it.
They just drank it.
How dear is that wine?
Oh, that coke in there and he wants to snort the wine. What a weirdo.
Again, I assume that one was just something that he did off
the cuff. Because there's a few things he did. There's a few things he does.
Clarence makes him a deal and threatens him. Basically, it's control, isn't it?
Sal!
There's a standoff, but before it can get bloody, Robo knocks down this door that looks like it was the entrance to a medieval keep, not a multi-million-dollar drug refinery. It's like barely on its hinges. It was like, Camelot! It's just a model. He takes out loads of the bad bastards with Uzis. Including a non-union Yorkshire Jesse Ventura in a flat cap. I assume he believes Lancashire's pushing the border closer to Skipton or some other mental conspiracy theory. I don't know. Clarence tells Robo that Dick Jones is the brains, that he's his boss, and Robo's about to choke him to death until he reminds him, "You're a cop, you idiot." Robo stops. At the station, Robocop books in Clarence as a cop killer.
And what does it say when he's booking him?
Yeah, that was it. That was where they write it in a fountain pen, isn't it? He's like,
Aye, but he also spat and just said, "Give him my."
Oh yeah, he spits his blood on the paper.
Aye, but that was I'd loved. Wasn't meant to be there.
All right,
made it up.
Cop killer.
That's a better ad lib than the sniffing the wine.
Oh yeah,
I know.
Yeah, much better. Yeah.
What do you say, Sal? That still makes me laugh, bro. Why are you snorting wine?
We all know "Cop Killer," the song by Body Count off their debut album Body Count, 1992.
I'm wearing a
so you are? Fucking hell, what's
I'm wearing a Body Count t-shirt.
Fuck
He knew.
Some things it's always cyclical. Always cyclical.
That'll come over really well on radio.
Not being recorded. Good work.
You're sitting there with your trousers on.
in your Ford Taurus.
He's just totally Robocop
it. That night at Dick's office, he's on the phone telling Clarence he'll have him out in 24 hours. Here's Robo heading up the elevator. This elevator looked like it was the one from the mall that Commandos filmed in.
I was going for True Lies.
Yeah. When Robocop tries to harm Dick, he can't because of that little hidden thing in his code. It causes him to reel away in agony. And, again, another one of those brilliant gifs that I use a lot, one of those reaction gifs I use a lot. Dick introduces ED-209 and explains he killed Morton because he made a mistake. It was time to erase that mistake. After a battle with the stop-motion cutie, he heads downstairs, which he can't do, and ends up falling down the stairs and squealing on its back, kicking its legs.
Yeah, I like that bit.
Yeah, I've always liked that.
So did David Cameron.
That's how he likes them, isn't it? Yeah. Horses and cows cannot walk downstairs because their knees aren't like ours. That's it. That's all I got on that one. In the car park below OCP, the whole force is there and they're ordered to kill Robocop, which they make a fist of doing. Lewis picks him up in a squad car and they escape. Brilliant 6,000 Sucks advert here, by the way, with known murderer John Landis. He's the guy with the beard in it.
Yep. Jesus, so it is.
Obviously, he was still kind of getting work after he'd set helicopters on people. What it did make me think of, by the way, was this dinosaur in this thing, the Chewits monster. In the Chewits advert.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. Chewits, Jesus.
Yeah.
Takes you back.
Absolutely. The Chewits dinosaur is called Chewy, and he's been the mascot since 1976. The sweets were first launched in 1963, and all of the current flavours are kosher under the London Beth Din's list. Ooh. There you go. So Robocop will be able to eat those. The news tells us that a space laser burnt miles of woodland and killed 113 people, including 2 former presidents. My question for you, lads, and I think we all know the answer, which 2 former presidents do you wish were murdered by a space laser?
Fucking hell. One of, one.
Yeah, him. Yeah, I'd like him to go.
Fun. Yeah. I didn't have any time for Bush.
Yeah, well, that's not what Kirsty tells us.
Potato!
Trump and Bush, isn't it? It's got to be Trump and Bush. Quick reminder, by the way, Jimmy Carter is 99 in October. 99 in October, Jimmy Carter.
But I read somewhere that Nixon done an advert for this.
I was just trying to find there's definitely some Nixon-related thing to this.
Yeah, some kind of promotion for the film.
And that he had a Robocop. It's like someone dressed in a Robocop outfit at one of his things.
It's weird.
Yeah,
I am looking at pictures now. After stopping for donuts, former President Richard Nixon gets caught up with a cybernetic cop, not Peter Weller, but a robo-double. The dynamic duo were on hand to raise money for the Boys Club of America whilst kicking off a $3 million promotional launch of the film's video release.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
There you go.
Wow. So that's 2 Nixon relevant things in 2 episodes, because there was the dude had a poster of Nixon bowling, didn't he? On his wall.
Sure he did, yeah.
Fucking hell.
I know. Nixon gets everywhere, doesn't he?
How are we going to get a triple? I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see.
Frost v. Nixon?
Yeah, absolutely. The cops are on strike. And absolutely, this podcast supports them. Solidarity with our striking brothers, any of them. The police cannot go on strike in the UK. Neither can prison guards. They are forbidden from striking. At OCP, Clarence is talking with Dick, and he's blaming Dick for Robocop. Dick explains that with the new city being built, there's opportunity for drugs and prostitution to be run by Clarence. Because Clarence is basically going to murder him here, I think. And then he just goes, I think we could probably be friends. It's like, fucking hell. Dick tells him to kill Robocop, and he explains he needs firepower. By the way, did you spot he was having a crack with the receptionist before he went in? That's the actor's actual wife.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's Clarence Boddiger's the actor's wife. There you go. You can keep that chewing gum, filthy bastard. By the way, his suit, the flared suit, the big shoulder pads. Man, I got heavy 80s vibes from that suit. Back at the disused steelworks, because we've already paid for filming here, so we better get the most out of it. Robocop's hiding out. Now, arguably, if you were murdered somewhere, would you want to go back and hide out at the place you were murdered, especially if you were having nightmares about being murdered?
Yeah, probably not the best choice.
Absolutely.
No.
Robocop's hiding there. Lewis brings him his gun, some food, and a drill. He takes his mask off, and I am putting it out there now. It's still one of the best bits of the film. It looks amazing.
I thought that as well. Because I think the thing that sells it the most, because you see so many effects around that time, and the robotics are bigger than the head, but the cybernetic part is smaller than his face.
Yes.
I just think sells it. I just think it's, I totally agree. I think that is
And the
genius.
skin wrappings, love it. It's perfect, man. Absolutely perfect.
Lewis explains Murphy's wife and kid moved away. He says he can feel them, but he can't remember them. It's kind of sad. In the city, the place is going rag because there's no cops. Emil's watching Bixby just on a TV in the shop.
Can you hear them, bro?
Like your outside radio rentals at 4:40 on a Saturday afternoon.
Outside DER, and then he can't hear it, so he just smashes the window.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he loves it as well, doesn't he? He cracks up on
Yeah, he's pissing himself. Yeah. The gang show up with this Cobra.
Can I have both?
Cobra assault cannon. They blow a bunch of cars up, including the one you mentioned before, the extra sucks, and use the shitty tracker to find Robocop at the steel. He's at the steel mill. Okay.
Yeah, it's actually moving that time though, wasn't it? It's like
it was. Yeah. Back at the mill, Robocop explains his targeting's messed up. Lewis holds his arm, helping him. Just as the gang arrive and start blowing shit up, looking for me. It's a good line. I like that. Emil tries to ram Robocop in his car, and again, probably one of my favourite, but one of the bits that stuck with me as a kid so much goes into the toxic waste. Goes into the toxic waste. And for me, the melty body is one of the best effects.
That was a homage to Rob Bottin's own film, The Incredible Mountain Man, which, if you guys have not checked out,
no, I haven't.
It's a proper cult movie piece of trash, but the effects in it are just amazing. And that was like a harkening back to that. But yeah, that is such a great scene as well.
It's brilliant.
I've written it down. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Incredible Mountain Man, yeah. You can get it on our Arrow Special Edition.
Oh, can you? All right. Okay. Because I've still got money after all the ones I've bought recently. After that Mad Max, in fact, I didn't buy the Mad Max Steelbook box set. Rachel bought me that for my birthday, and it is my fucking baby. It is absolutely stunning. I love it. Why would there be toxic waste at a steel mill? Because PCBs, or polychlorinated biethanols, are used in many manufacturing processes by the utility industry and in paints and sealants. Damage can occur through exposure, affecting the nervous, reproductive, and immune systems, as well as the liver. Good luck causing my liver more damage. Exposure can lead to birth defects, kidney and brain damage. Damage can occur through exposure. I've already read that bit. For some reason, I managed to type that bit out. Copy and paste that bit twice. There you go. But that's interesting stuff. But he looks fantastic. He looks absolutely super. And there's this bit where he tries to grab Leon for help. Don't touch me, man! It's great.
Don't touch me, man! Help me! It's every time I look at his hand, it's just the bits of bone. It's just
and one of his eyes is a bit like, it's bad.
It's as if he's turned it inside out, like the fucking twats at school. Mine used to turn an eyelid inside it, so it was picked. Oh, you pricks!
Clarence is Lewis in the car, and Emil ends up walking out in front of it, only to be hit by the car, and blammo!
Aye,
there it is.
It's all over. Aye.
It explodes across the windscreen. It looks, someone's just thrown a bucket of shit at the windscreen, and it looks great.
See
the gore is so on point, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's just like everything just slaps.
Clarence runs his car into this pit, and as Robo's about to murder him, Leon drops a crane tipper full of steel on him. Lewis grabs the Cobra and blasts the control power, murdering Leon. Trapped under all this junk, Robo can't defend himself. Clarence rebars him in the chest. And then, of course, he data spikes him to death, which looks great.
It's really good. It's just a pun of blood in it.
Yeah. Later at OCP, Dick is explaining that he can have ED-209s ready to go in weeks. In fact, he's got one guard in the car park now. Robocop shows up and it tries to give him a ticket. Of course, he just blows it up. Fine for illegally parking on private property in Detroit. Parked in a prohibited area, $45 if paid in 30 days, $65 any later than that.
That's better than 20 seconds to comply.
It is.
No.
A little bit better than that, yeah. Robo shows up in the meeting, explaining that Dick's wanted for murder. As he can't act against a member of the company, he puts the video up of him admitting to Morton's death. Dick holds the old man hostage and demands a chopper to get him out of there. The old man shouts, "Dick, you're fired!"
Yeah.
And of course,
Thank
Robo,
you.
thank you, and blasts him out the window before doing the spinny gun thing, putting the gun back in his leg holster. Is that the only time he puts the gun back in his holster? Because I was certain.
No, does it
more than once.
firing range as well?
Oh yeah, of course he does.
And the reason he does, we have said the reason he does it, haven't we? Because that TJ Laser does it, and
Yeah.
his son likes it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name? Murphy. And then that's it. And my favourite bit about the way it ends is it's just such a sudden ending.
Aye.
Simple white on black credits. Robocop. You know, and then you've got the theme, and it's just
Done.
white on black. Always looks great. It's fantastic.
Aye.
It's just classic, isn't it?
Classy.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
absolutely. I've got loads more stuff left, I think, lads. What have you got, Paul?
Robocop's gun needed FBI approval.
Oh,
So, because it's a modified 9mm Beretta, I thought this was John's area of the guns, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I've already done mine, so I've got
modified-
huddles here.
Yeah, 9mm Beretta automatic sidearm that keeps his fire to be approved by the FBI for entry into the United States. And the actor who had to twirl it said it was like trying to twirl half of a baseball bat. Stan Lee turned it down as a comic in
right.
84. So Neumeier, the guy who wrote it,
Yeah.
and he apparently came up with the idea of it on the set of Blade Runner.
Oh,
'Cause,
really?
yeah, he was like a runner on the set of Blade Runner, and the idea of robots in law enforcement, that's what came in. Very influenced by Judge Dredd as well, which you can tell by the helmet and everything, and the fact that Robocop calls people creep.
yeah.
But yeah, Stan Lee turned it down.
Stan Lee turned it down, yet still got payments for it and still claimed it his classic Stan Lee behaviour till the day he died.
He said he ran the idea by Stan Lee before Lee could commit one way or the other. He and Neumeier attended an early screening of The Terminator, which also had a humanoid as the main character, and impressed Lee told the writer, "Boy, you're never going to top that," and passed.
Oh, wow.
What?
So there you go.
Jesus.
So he was close to it, yeah. I said about him wearing a Walkman under his helmet. Yeah, it bested Snow White and Jaws at the box office, barely. They used Robocop to sell fried chicken in Korea.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Dead or fried, you're going with me.
But yeah, I think that's mine.
Great, John.
Just a couple of things. The corpses will even throw on a Blaupunkt. So
Yeah.
Blaupunkt was founded in Germany in 1923, but Blaupunkt literally is German for blue point or blue dot, after the blue dot painted on the headphones when it passed quality control. So that's basically what it means,
Alright.
blue dot.
Wow.
And it was approximately, this is a bit of a stretch, 500,000 to $1 million for that suit. So either pick one or the other, because it's like
Yeah.
pretty much double.
Yeah. Make your mind up.
The guns, you've already got them already. We've already mentioned the Desert Eagle, the Mac 10 Uzi again. So we've seen all these Moosberg 550. But the Cobra assault cannon was a Barrett M82. Which basically just had mouldings on it to make it chunk it up to make it look bigger.
Okay.
That's me, buddy.
Okay. We've already got not actually filmed in Detroit because it doesn't look futuristic enough, which is why nothing's filmed in Northampton. Unless it's a Dickensian adaptation about workhouses and orphans with rickets that have never seen the stars. Am I right, Paul? Am I right?
First he does Milton Keynes, now he's doing Northampton.
No one, because no one's ever slagged off Nottingham or Carlisle. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, Paul Verhoeven. When it's a director we've already done, I always struggle. So I went for his history. His dad was a teacher and his mum was a hat maker. He won a Golden Raspberry for the worst director in 1995
Showgirls.
for the brilliant, still brilliant Showgirls.
Yeah. Have you never done that?
No,
You-
we're not a bad movie podcast, and I'm trying to prove that in 2023 by only doing good films, which we're kind of getting there. But yes, I might do that. Ronny Cox was Dick Jones, brilliant in Deliverance, of course. That guitar scene, still phenomenal.
Oh,
Dual
yeah,
banjos, I love that. And of course, he's Cohegan in Total Recall. Cohegan, the people, they need the air. Still
You
acting.
love doing that, didn't you?
I do love doing that. Still acting and playing concerts at 84 years young.
Well done, that guy.
I wanted to know if police were going to be privatised in the UK, because surely it's the next thing. Port police in the UK are run by the port authorities, which are privately owned companies. So it kind of works. And until 2003, Oxford University had a private police force who had standard constabulary powers within 4 miles of the university building. Yeah, but they got rid of that because obviously why not? The old man, Dan O'Harity, of course, 5 more days till Halloween, 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 5 more days till Halloween, Silver Shamrock. And Oscar nominated for Robinson Crusoe. Actually Irish as well. There you go. Police robots are used in San Francisco to defuse bombs, and this blew me away, pardon the pun. Last year, the city of San Francisco voted against using these robots to deliver bombs and blow people up. In Dallas 2016, one was used to deliver a brick of C4 and blow up a sniper who had killed 5 people.
What?
Your mother was a snowblower. Free enterprise is mentioned. The Oxford Dictionary calls free enterprise an economic system in which private business operates in competition and largely free of state control, which I think all business owners were told would be a benefit of Brexit. Oh dear. Didn't work, did it? The Black Power berets. Now, the Black Power berets worn by Joe in this. Bobby Searle has said that he and Huey Newton, the co-founder of the Black Panther Party, were inspired to wear berets as part of their uniform after watching a film where members of World War II French resistance wore a beret. And the Guardian Angels, the Puerto Ricans in the late 70s who wore berets in the colour red as they policed the New York subways. That's a film we need to know about a film. And finally, what can you buy for $1? Not a Poundland shop share, which is currently £2.24 a share.
Lies.
$1 today versus 1987, $2.85, which is an increase of 157%. There you go. And that is all I've got. Paul, do you want to have a guess? How many do you think we got?
I just got one more that I missed.
Oh, go for it.
The standard copyright notice at the end of Robocop includes a warning that this motion picture is protected under the laws of the United States and other countries, and it's unauthorized duplication, blah, 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 and criminal prosecution by enforcement droids. So if you actually watch it right to the end, which is a nice way to end it, yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I like that.
But I reckon, I reckon we've done it. I reckon easily done it. There's loads in there, weren't there? I reckon 107.
Ooh, a little bit higher, John.
Hi, baby. 114.
Oh, 112. You've gone off the cliff. Brilliant. So, Paul, I think that now means that you've actually managed to get 100 things on all 3 of your episodes.
Hey!
Which nobody else has done.
And not a drop of whiskey's past his mouth. Have you seen?
You don't have to drink all, Paul.
I had a few beforehand. I'm going to have a few now.
Okay. Yeah, I think I need one.
Celebrate.
I've got some editing to do.
Nah, me too.
How's your thing going? Are you still doing your non-drinking?
No, mate, no. I've been back on it since October, and yeah, I'm on holiday next week, so I am going to be right back on it. But then when I come back off holiday, I'm going to have a couple of months off. Because beer and whiskey don't help you put the pounds on.
Yeah.
So I could do with losing a bit of weight for John and Kirsty's wedding. Which is coming up next year. Anyway,
it's wrap you in a kilt and throw you down a hill.
Paul, again, tell us where we can find your stuff because it's all amazing. I end up liking and sharing it every day.
Oh yeah, thanks for that, by the way. Yeah, because I've seen you be sharing the shiny stuff. Yeah, so Evil Genius Artworks on Instagram, Evil Genius Artworks on Etsy to buy the stuff, and Evil Genius Artworks on Facebook. So yeah, check it out.
Fantastic stuff. Well, please do check that stuff out and join us all over our socials. We've got one of those Facebook groups going on at the moment where we started sharing a lot of memes. There's loads of people, loads of patrons are sharing stuff, and a lot of people in that 100 Things We Learned from Film podcast group. We'll let you join and we'll let you share whatever memes you want to that, as long as they're kind of film related. Right, again, give us a quid a month and we will give you a shout out every single episode. This week, we are shouting out Paul, SP Film Viewers, where we went on, John, and talked about Robocop about a year and a half ago.
We did, yeah.
We
heard the words, but we never did it, did we?
Yeah,
until now.
Indeed, yeah, absolutely. Maria and Ian from Cult Connections, they're going to be doing The Mandalorian soon. Ian's working his way through the Bad Batch at the moment, which sounds like probably going to give you a bad stomach. I'm not sure. People that have got nothing to sell: Ian McComish, Gav McGill, Emily, we have got Rachel, and we have got Phil. They're all in the group, sharing bits and pieces, which is great. Nigel Davis from the Wonder Emporium. He will make you models for your tabletop games. Just search the Wonder Emporium on Facebook or Etsy. Dan and Gavin Belson, you know them. Gavin was on the other week talking about the Football Factory, which I've got a feeling is the kind of thing Paul would like to come on and talk about.
Yeah.
Geezer porn is one of my favourite.
You do share a lot of that shit. A lot of that shit. Yeah, absolutely. Aaron from Z1 Podcast. They're taking a hiatus at the moment, but they will be back soon. I hope. We all hope. Joe from Hallmark of Greatness. It went live today. For those that are on the podcast, at least, we watched and reviewed Blackbird, the Michael Flatley spy film. Paul, I don't know if you've seen this, mate.
No,
Vanity Project don't come close, right? It is the biggest piece of shit I have ever seen, right? But
you do know that's a recommendation to me, don't you?
No, mate. Yeah, go away and
prove
find
it. Prove it.
Go away.
Come at me, bro.
Bearing in mind, this was filmed in 2018. And they didn't release it in cinemas until the end of last year because of COVID, because they were worried that people wouldn't go because of COVID. Turns out people didn't go because they don't need a Michael Flatley punching the fuck out of people film. It is atrocious. Oh. Mono and Kira from Mono Rants at the Movies. I think I told you, John, Mono and Kira talked about the Warriors this week. And actually, Mono sent me a message and said, look, I'm really sorry that we beat you to the Warriors. I know you keep banging on about doing it. And I think when we probably do the Warriors, that's when Paul's coming back. I think that's on the short list of Paul films, I think, probably. But yeah,
we've got to do the PS2 game as well.
Oh, you better believe it. You better believe we do.
Jesus, I need an emulator.
We'll film it and we'll all dress as baseball furies as well. Face paint a lot. But yeah, he did send me a message apologising that he'd covered it. I said, it doesn't matter, Mono. No one listens to your podcast. It's fine. To his words were, it's okay when I say it, but it really hurts when you say it. Last week's guest, Josh Wilson, of course, super familiar with the Wilsons. He's got some very exciting stuff coming up, by the way. I'm not going to tell you. Go and listen to his podcast and you will see. Modern Escapism, our favourite favourite mixed martial arts review, mixed media review. We've got Biggie, we've got Gadget, and we've got Stig, by the way, who wants to do Last Action Hero over you. Paul, he's already shouted that, so you and Stig need to fight to the death over that. They, of course, continue to give some of the best reviews out there. And, of course, Punk. You still haven't gone on Punk's show. We need to get you on Punk's show. He just continues to be probably my favourite Monday release. Sorry if you release on Monday, but you're all shit compared to him. There you go. Give us... so all of these people have said, I'll buy that for $1 and subscribe to the Patreon. Maybe you should too. See what I did there? But look, hey, anyway, that's that. Get us on the socials, specifically in that little group, because we're building this little group of just like-minded idiots who like to share things. I'll find some. We will find some Robocop stuff to share in there over the coming weeks.
Yeah.
And Paul, you're in there, I think, so you need to be sharing your stuff, man. You need to be putting your stuff in that group.
Okay,
so
I'll
that
check
people
it
can
out.
see it. It's one come all. It's a fucking socialist paradise, man. It's like Detroit now. Robocop's there. But lads, thank you so much. This one's been long in the works. I think we just didn't know it. Always a pleasure to have you on, Paul. John, it's all right when you're on too.
Cheers, mate.
We're having a week
Fuck
off
you.
next week, listeners, because I'm on
Fuck
holiday.
me! Fuck me! Fuck me! Sorry, that just went through my head.
Somebody has to. So we're having a week off next week while I do some holiday things, but we'll be back the following week with some shit. I don't know. Much better films. They live or something. Who knows? But until then, I've been.
Don't get him started.
You're not coming back
You
on.
need to do that.
It's a once a year thing, man. But until then, he's been Paul, he's been John, I've been Planty, and this has been 112 things we learned from the Robot Cop. See you, creeps.
See you guys.